So, good day everyone. I am the Group 9 reporter and today we're going to tackle about the Gestalt psychologist. It explains how people see things as full pattern, not just as small parts. So, these are my objectives. First is describe the different Gestalt principles of perceptions. The second one is list ways of applying Gestalt psychological in teaching learning process. The third one is the demonstrate the appreciations of the useful of Gestalt principles in enhancing teaching and learning. So, Gestalt psychologist, the whole is different the sum of its parts. So, Gestalt psychologist focuses on how people perceive and interpret information as a whole, not just as separated parts. It looks the mental processes of how we think, perceive, and understand, not just behavior. It comes from the reactions, again, behaviorism, which focuses on an observation action. So, the example is when you look at the pictures of the tree, you don't think it is as leaves, the branches, trunk separately. You instantly see as one tree. That Gestalt perception seeing the whole pictures first. So Gestalt is a German word meaning shape, form, essence, or the whole. It refers the theory of perceptions developed in Germany in the 1920s. The famous phrases is the whole is different from the sum of its part. This means that when the element is combined, they form something new and meaningful. Wertheimer, Max Wertheimer, Wolfgang Kohler, Kurt Kafka concluded that learners were not passive but rather active. They suggest that learners do not just collected information but they actively process and retracted data in order to understand it. So there are three founder of Gestalt psychologists. Here is the advanced organizer about the Gestalt psychologist. First, there are 5 Gestalt principles. These are the law of proximity, law of similarity, law of closures, law of good continuations, law of good pregnance, law of figure and ground. This law of proximity. Things that are close to each other are seen as belonging together. Our brain groups them as a one. Example, when the students sit together, the teacher thinks they are in one group. Law of similarities. Things that look the same, color, shape, or size are seen as a group. Like example, if the student wear the same color t-shirt, the teacher may think they are the same team. One is law of closure. Even if a picture or shape is not complete, our mind fills in the missing parts to see a whole picture. Like example, when the teacher draw a broken circle on the board, students still see it as a whole. The fourth one is law of good continuations. We like to see things are smooth and connected, not as separate or broken lines. Example, when the teacher draw a wavy lines, students see it as a long curve, not just as small parts. Is law of good pregnance. We prefer to see things in simplest and most organized ways. Our brain avoids complicated patterns. Like example, when students see a drawing of house, they notice it as a square with a triangle roof, not a mix of lines. The last one is law of figure and ground. We focus on the main object or figures and ignore the background or ground. Example, when the teacher writes on the whiteboard, Students focus on the word or figures, not just in the board or background. Wolfgang Kohler experiments and insight learning. The important aspect of learning was to reinforcement but the conditions of thinking to create a new organization. Kohler refers to this waiver of insight of discovering learners. Insight learning is an abrupt realization of problem solutions. Insight learning is not just a result of trial and error. Responding to the environmental stimulus of result. In his experiment, Kohler hung a piece of fruit just out of the reach of each chimp. He then provided the chimp with 2 sticks or 3 bucks. Then wait and watch. Kohler noticed that after the chimp realized, then could not simply reach or jump. After stripped the fruit, then stop, had to sit and thought how they could solve the problem. Then after few moments, the chimp stood and proceeded to solve the problem. Gestalt principle and teaching learning process. The modern pioneers of social, organizational, and applied psychology in the United States. Lewin is often recognized as the founder of social psychology and was one of the first study group of dynamics and organizations to development. So, Kurt Lewin's theory, an individual has inner and outer force that affect his perceptions. So, in inner force, it includes your own motivation, attitude, and feelings. So, in outer force may include the attitude and behavior of the teachers and classmates.